Coming up, Kazakhstan reinforces the responsibility of mobile operators for the low quality of internet connection. Fines are planned to be increased 10 times. Details next. 5 to 7 minutes instead of 30 days. Kazakh entrepreneurs will experience the advantages of automating public services. All the details in our news digest. Cellular therapy against diabetes. Kazakh scientists developed a unique genome editing method for the treatment of the disease. Enhancing the investment attractiveness of the country and developing trade. Members of the lower house of Kazakh parliament adopted a new bill about ratification of the UN Convention on International Settlement Agreements. According to the Mazhilis men, the adoption of the document will be a positive step towards improving extrajudicial mediation. The convention applies only to international commercial disputes between two or more companies from different member countries. Justice Minister Kanat Musin clarified. The signed bill will facilitate the implementation of international transactions between commercial parties. As such, this will have a positive impact on the business reputation of Kazakhstan in the world market, the minister noted. The convention entered into force on September 12, 2020. The collective treaty was signed between 55 countries, including China, the US, South Korea, and India. Of these, 7 states ratified and 1 approved this document.
Конвенцияның мақсаты медиация нәтижесінде қол жеткізілген халықаралық келісімдерді қатысу.
The goal of the convention is the recognition and implementation of international agreements reached as a result of mediation on the territory of its member states. Until now, there has been no single mechanism for effective recognition and enforcement of international agreements resulting from mediation. Accordingly, the parties to the dispute have the opportunity to apply to a court of another jurisdiction for recognition of the settlement agreement and its execution.
Басқа юрисдикцияда тану және орындау үшін сотқа жүгінуге енді мүмкіндік туындайды.
Members of the Mazhilis approved on first reading a bill that increases penalties to mobile operators for the low quality of internet connection. In addition, the document proposes to introduce administrative liability for violation of the rules for the provision of communication services. According to the paragraphs of the bill on amendments and additions to the Code of Administrative Offenses on Communications, it is proposed to increase fines for large businesses 10 times, that is, from 100 monthly calculation indices to 1,000, and for a repeated violation committed within a year, the fine will be increased to 1,500. The meeting also discussed plans for the implementation of 5G technology. Testing is currently underway. It is expected that the network will be implemented in Nur-Sultan, Almaty, and Shymkent by the end of the year, while in the regions of the country in 2023-24. Automation and optimization. 9 public services at the e-license portal can be obtained in auto mode. Permission to conduct a comprehensive examination of construction projects is among them. According to the National Information Technologies Company, this service has been simplified as much as possible. Expertise is provided in an online format. In addition, citizens will no longer be required to provide notarized copies or originals of supporting documents. All business services are provided free of charge. This became available thanks to the joint work of the National Information Technologies Company and the Ministry of Digital Development, as well as the state bodies. For example, if earlier the service was provided within 30 calendar days, now it can be obtained in a couple of minutes on the e-license portal by filling out a step-by-step online application and signing it with an e-signature. The cost of cargo transportation across the Kazakhstan-China border will be reduced twofold, said the country's first Vice Minister of Finance, Marat Sultangaziev. According to him, the ministry has completely resolved the issue of transshipment of goods inside the Nurzhola checkpoint. Soon, there will be an electronic queue to speed up the procedure. According to Kazakh Finance Ministry, to date, 4 out of 5 road checkpoints are open. Only the Kaljat station remains closed due to the epidemic situation in China. The parties shall agree on the exact date of the resumption of its activities. 87 COVID-19 cases were detected in Kazakhstan in the past 24 hours. North Kazakhstan region registered the highest number of 25 infected, followed by the city of Almaty with 23 patients and Karaganda region with 11 cases. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the number of people infected with coronavirus in the country has exceeded 1,304,000. According to the latest data of the Kazakh Health Ministry, more than 13,000 residents are currently receiving treatment, less than 1,500 out of which are in hospitals. To date, over 9,042,000 people in Kazakhstan have been vaccinated with two components. More than 2,859,000 received a booster shot. Over 6 million people died from coronavirus worldwide, Johns Hopkins University reported. The United States recorded the highest death toll, followed by Brazil and India. These countries also have the biggest number of infections. The total number of COVID-19 cases exceeded 449 million globally. The coronavirus infection has spread to more than 200 countries. Coronavirus can affect the human brain. Such a conclusion was made by U.S. scientists. Online publication Science Alert reports. According to the results of a large-scale study, even a mild or moderate course of the disease can cause changes in the human nervous system and lead to a slight loss of gray matter. The authors of the test note that they have been able to study the brains of almost 800 people. Their ages range from 51 to 81. On average, once every 3 years, scientists took pictures of their brains and tested their mental abilities. And future research should show just how long the observed changes can last and whether they can be reversed. Green technologies in the development of the agro-industrial complex. A new hydroponic technology for year-round fodder cultivation is used in Mangostau region. Isatai Saktaganov built a special workshop and installed racks there. The soaked barley grain rises to ready shoots in a couple of days there. The irrigation system works automatically twice a day and maintains a special microclimate. According to the farmer, green fodder grown in hydroponic plants has a positive effect on product quality. Up to 40 kilograms of grass sprouts in 3 days. I plant 400 kilograms, of which 4 tons of grass grow in a month. We plan to raise ducks, geese, and turkeys. They are unpretentious. They do not need much grass. Another hydroponic greenhouse grows tomatoes using Turkish technology. The first 150 kilograms were ripe in just 3 months, farmers say. In the near future, they plan to build more greenhouses in which they will grow cucumbers and dill.
Өнімімізді санэпидстанцияға экспертизаға жібердік. Сол экспертизаның қорытындысы бойынша
we sent our products for a special examination. According to its results, our tomatoes are 100% pure products. It is our achievement. We can harvest 150 to 160 tons of tomatoes here all year round.
Бір жылда жаз айында бір сезон аяқталады. Сол уақытта 150-160 тонна қызанақ аламыз деген жоспарда бар.
21 жылға 18 шаруа қожалыққа субсидия бердік селитраға.
Last year, 18 farms received subsidies for saltpeter and 3 for water. The products of these greenhouses and gardens can be found on the shelves of local stores. Prices are lower than in Aktau. There was no longer a need to go to the city for tomatoes because it is much more worthwhile to buy greenhouse vegetables.
Жыл сайын осы жыңғылдыдан Ақтауға да алып барады, шетпеге де алып келеді, жеңілдетілген бағада.
Last year alone, local farms received over 160 million tenge of subsidies. With these funds, farmers and agriculturists purchased equipment and mineral fertilizers. Domestic science does not stand still. Kazakh scientists share their achievements. Thus, a researcher from Almaty, Mahjan Aljanula, developed a unique method for treating diabetes using modern approaches in the fight against this disease. It is about cellular therapy. According to the researcher, cell transplantation will allow the pancreas not only to produce insulin, but also to independently regulate its level in the body.
Мы внедрили нашу конструкцию стволовой клетки.
We introduced stem cells into our structure. We obtained beta cells from them. These are the cells of the pancreas that are responsible for the synthesis of insulin. We got these beta cells. Then we began to test those qualities that we need, whether they can reduce or increase insulin levels.
Могут ли они снижать или повышать уровень инсулина?
Beta cells can increase insulin levels or decrease it when it's exposed to light, the scientists said. The unique technique of the Kazakh biotechnologist can help those who face diabetes and give them the opportunity to live life without injections. There is no technology for the treatment of type 1 diabetes in the world to date, and patients are treated with insulin therapy. Now all that's left is to finish the work.
Сейчас объявлен конкурс. Бахытжан Алжанұлы вместе со мной.
A competition has now been announced. Бахытжан Алжанұлы, me and other scientists will apply for the grant funding or collaborative grant. Based on this grant funding, we will continue this work.
Будет создаваться дальнейшее продолжение этой работы.
Бахытжан Алжанұлы began his research almost 4 years ago in Canada and successfully completed it at a Kazakh research institute. There is work on existing protocols, preclinical and clinical trials ahead. Scientists predict that the technology can be put into practice in 5 years.
A Kazakh designer took part in the branding of the Winter Olympics in Beijing and the creation of medals and commemorative badges for skaters. Rustam Sadyrov has been working in China for almost 10 years. During this time, his creative portfolio has expanded enormously. Now his treasury has both Chinese and international companies.
Основная идея брендинга и дизайна Олимпийского комитета была сделана мною совместно с
The main idea for the branding and design of the Olympic Committee was made by me, together with my curator, who is also the director of the company. One of the big, interesting things I did was design the entry gate for the Olympics exhibition that was held here 2 years ago. There were such interesting visual entries that it was as if you were plunging into the ice world. There were a lot of options, but we chose this one, because only one athlete can win gold, and from all these lines we made a golden one.
Сделано очень много разных вариантов, но выбрали именно этот. Да. Потому что только один спортсмен может завоевать золото, и как бы из всех линий мы сделали одну золотую.
Rustam Sadyrov began his career in his homeland. Then, when visiting China, he decided to try his hand at the huge market of their country. During his work there, he collaborated with Chinese technological companies with a worldwide reputation. As Rustam Sadyrov admits, he has already studied all types of design, except maybe for automotive. He plans to apply his experience at home.
Здесь за 9 лет в Китае жизнь повернулась совсем по-другому, и учитывая мой background.
The life turned quite differently here in 9 years in China. Given my background in graphic, industrial, exhibition design, I have worked with many famous brands here. I would like to give my baggage of knowledge and experience to my homeland. Why not? I have met a lot of young talented people in Kazakhstan and we have a chat on Facebook. There are a lot of questions, a lot of answers. It's interesting that young people are now interested in self-development.
Я встречал и вижу, и у нас есть некоторые переписки в Фейсбуке, много вопросов, много ответов. Интересно, что молодежь сейчас увлекается, занимается саморазвитием.
Rustam reads a lot about world innovations in the field of design, studies and applies them in his work. To be fully equipped, so to speak, is to understand that education is the base and continuous self-development is the key to success.
Kazakh athlete Alexander Gerlitz finished 5th in the cross-country skiing standing sprint at the Winter Paralympics in Beijing. He clocked 3:13, falling 5.5 seconds behind the winner, Benjamin Davier from France. Georgi Vovchinsky from Ukraine came 3rd. Earlier, Gerlitz won the first medal for Team Kazakhstan at the now running Paralympic Games. He nailed bronze in the men's standing 10-kilometer biathlon event.